How you going, guys? Welcome back to AJ's Car Garage. So in today's video we will get some gears and a chain on here with a couple of guides and yeah, see where we go from there. I have to finish torque specking up this bolt here. Yeah, I've already done cleaned up a couple little bolts this morning to do with that, and do a comparison between the old cam gear, new vernier cam gear, crank gear, new crank gear, and yeah, a little bit of a comparison between the old timing chain guide, new ones, through the other one out. When I pulled it off, it was rather shocking. I should have kept it to give you a look at, but I'm pretty sure the video showed how bad it was anyway. So yeah, rather grateful I'm swapping them out. But in saying that, you know, we all do our forum research and whatnot when it comes to certain things, or you know, even just in general over time, and I've never personally had a problem with these, or the Nason brand in general. First time I'm using their guides. I've used their timing chains and stuff before, never had an issue. People reckon there's a little bit of an issue with them, but I don't know, time will tell. But anyway, new cam gear, vernier cam gear, crank gear, timing chain. Let's get to it. Okay, so first things first, with the cam gear and the crank gear, it's much nicer looking setup. And have even gone to the extent of making the endowment look good as well. It is a vernier gear, so obviously you can adjust the cam gear more, and yeah, just a much nicer unit in general. Now, I can't see any timing marks on this chain as such. Yeah, so I mean, these timing chains aren't exactly, yeah, they don't. Alright, so depending on what model Falcon it is, some of them do, some of them don't. The AUs typically don't. So yeah, anyway, yeah, not much else to say on them, except yeah, their quality is so much better with this than what it is with them. Yeah, timing mark is there. And the dimple just there, if you can see. Don't know if you can. Right there. But anyway, yeah, I'll point that out later anyway. Sorry. Yeah, my brain's a bit muddled up today. But yeah, good enough to do what we're doing. Anyway, I'm gonna put these old ones aside, probably in the new box. Oh, and one thing is also, yeah, the bolts he's talking about, well, they're talking about on here are the vernier bolts, and it is plastered on the inside of the box, on the packaging, and on the instruction sheet given to use Loctite 263. I couldn't find any 263. Like going on the back here, permanent strength. It's got a 2,250 psi shear strength. Maximum temperature plus 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 149 degrees Fahrenheit. 149 degrees Celsius low. Or yeah. Anyway, cylinder blocks, ring gear bolts, and transmission stud bolts, blah blah blah. So yeah, should be good for that. Alright. We'll put the keyway in, have a look at the book, and yeah, start lining up some timing, even though I'm not going to be able to 100% time it up because I can't put the timing chain on the engine as of yet. I still need to clean it up and give it a lick of paint, but yeah, we can start putting some timing gears on here. So I do have a little bit of Loctite 263, just don't know how much there is, that's why I went and got that. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the book here, and timing marks. So this crankshaft, auxiliary, cam gear, timing marks. Look, cam gear lines up, marked there, so does the auxiliary. So we come over here and there's our timing mark on the block. I'll turn him round so he lines up. Now it's not 100% needed because there's no dizzy run on this, and the dizzy runs off the auxiliary shaft in a dizzy dizzy ran application for timing. So pretty lined up there. Alright. So, okay, we'll go by the line. It's a line, there's a line in a book, not a dot, so we'll go by the line. And, yeah, I guess we'll, find out with that. Just gotta crank off there. But I'm pretty sure that's how this looks. So there's timing mark here on the new crank gear. It's pretty much on the keyway. Keyway is there, so pretty sure we're on the money with that straight away. But we'll wait and find out. I'll be back. I'm just gonna give this a quick clean up. Your timing mark, the keyway. So get a new keyway that I've been supplied with by Atomic. Cheers, guys. Give it a quick rub down. The sticky stuff off from the tape. I thought I was in a bit of strife there. Anyway, they're all good. And put a little bit wow, I can't even talk today. Lubrication, is that the word I'm looking for? Maybe. Anyway, a little bit of assembly lube on the exterior of the input shaft, and I'll put a little bit on the internal of the crank gear, making sure we get nice good coverage on all mating surfaces. There we go. Now, still needs to come round slightly. Good job. Try and wipe sticky stuff. Anyway. Timing marks are lined up for the crank. Anyway, yeah. Without the cam gear being on the camshaft to get where the timing mark is or should be, or hang on, sorry, rather top dead center for the camshaft itself, with these single overhead cam engines and what were the ELs, EFs, E series, probably right through to FG and FGX. The front lobe positioning, so if the front intake and exhaust, this second one here being exhaust, should be pointing down, and the intake side on this side should be pointing down. Now they are pretty close to top dead center, might be slight bit off, but yeah. Also, if you're not sure, double check with cylinder 6, because cylinder 1 and 6 work together. They obviously fire at different times, but they should be pointing up, so you can see intake sides pointing up. It's not even. Maybe I need to go one more click round. It's a little bit down, like it's a little bit too horizontal for my liking, which that's pointing straight up. Now you can even see the compression. So I'll take down back just a little bit, and yeah, should be sweet. Anyway, it's a bit hard to get the chain on with the cam gear on, but if you put the cam gear and the chain on as a whole unit, like, yeah, all together, like, yeah, slip it in like that through the top, she'll go in quite nicely. One thing I forgot to do. So that's seated in there nicely. Can that's something out gonna look with the guides in there. But anyway, oh, I think I stuffed up. I don't think I can put that guide on while the chain's there. One moment. Use the old one real quick. No. So let's just backtrack for 1 minute. In a minute. First, I'll show you the difference in the two Nason guides that I'll be using. So yeah, there's the original one. There's a Nason branded. Oh yeah, cool. Rubber little spacer in there. Sweet. So yeah, some old one, new one, and yeah, looking pretty schmick. Part number. Right. So with this timing chain guide, it bolts in through here and it guides the chain from the back. So unfortunately, again, let me just do something. Oh, how smooth is that? Do something like that. Let that go for a minute. Oh, now. Yeah, where are we? Alright, that's set on me nicely. It's the timing chain guide bolt that goes through there. I personally like to put a bit of RTV glue on them, just to make sure nothing comes out of the seal and whatnot. Because yeah, I've never seen like a paper gasket or anything for those seals. What's going on here? All my stuff going dry and crap. Just poke a hole in here, it's not like I need much anyway. I can stay it off another time. Yeah, right, it's up there. A bit of RTV go. Just a tad. Yeah. I tend to only do it around the bottom bits of the threads, just because when you do screw it up and screw it in, it's going to travel up the thread anyway, get pushed back up through there. So slide this up, sliding in there like that. There's no torque spec for these bolts, so yeah, just good and tight. Can't find all my stuff. Nice. Alright. So, guide number 2. Another Nason guide. Oh, what's going on here? I do not like that. Yeah, right. That's shocking. What? I don't know if I want to use that. Yeah. I really don't know if I want to use that, guys. I might have to, but it's the only option I got. So what? So yeah, I don't. I'm lost for words on that. I don't feel comfortable using that at all. Okay, so I'll send a couple of emails away and we'll see what they say. But for the meantime, we'll get this thing lined up top dead center and get the chain in place. I will just use that for the time being. I'm not gonna bolt it up properly, but just to have the chain sort of sitting where it should be, I'm gonna put that in place lightly. So yeah, let's get doing that. So I'm just doing up camshaft gear at the moment. So we'll go and have a look at me book here, which is just here. We'll grab torque specs for that in a second, which is a 2-stage of 20 Newton meters and an additional 40 degrees. So yeah, 20 Newton meters, 40 degrees. I'm gonna have to look that up real quick. So 20 Newton meters is 14.7 foot-pound. Where's me? 17 more. Yep. What did I say? 14.7 foot-pound. 14. That should do it. 14.75. So that there should do just nicely. Okay, so what do I do to lock it in place? Sort of just get a bar and stick it through the timing gear somewhere so you can get a bit of leverage. I've always done it, even with normal. So there you go, 20 Newton meters, and now we'll go an additional 40. So we'll put that there. So you can imagine 90 degrees would be out here somewhere. So we're gonna go about there, close to 45. So let's get the imaginary degree angle out. We'll go about there. Right. Yeah. Because I had to turn a little bit to get it to line up so I could lock it in. We'll move it back to where it's timed up, top dead center. which should be there. Now, top dead center for the head, still need to come around a little bit. So this mark here should be relatively flat in line with the top of the head. So we'll move that around and line him up. So just to clarify that, does say somewhere in the book, but I can't remember where. I haven't got the time to find it. Being on camera at this very second, but the proper timing is top dead center is about 3 degrees above the top of the head, which is what they line it up on. So yeah, about there where it is now, which wasn't very far off where it was to start with. You can see there now that she's basically in line with the cylinder head. So at this point in time, I don't know how well you can see past my buff head. We're gonna make sure the bottom marks all lined up, and go from there, hopefully. Just to give you an idea of what this timing mark or guide should look like, should sit in there just like that. When I put the timing cover on, tension will go in here, push on there, and make it nice and tight. I still still got to time it up a little bit, but she's relatively where it should be. Now I've just got to get the tension of that chain in the right spot. Okay guys, so she's pretty close to being on point. Now I'm pretty sure these engraved degree marks are 2 degrees each, so there's 10 degrees either way, and yeah, so they're 2 degrees each. Now pretty sure she looks to be about 3 degrees above that headline, which is top dead center for these heads. The marks down here, the more important one, the crankshaft marking, is in line with that. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, there's no electronics that are run off this. This auxiliary shaft runs the oil pump. It used to, in earlier models like the ELs, EFs, EAs, EBs, all them before, and even earlier, before they went to ignition coils and all that, used to run the Dizzy that's sat down in here, and also the oil pump. So technically speaking, that there's nothing that gets run off of this electronically. The timing on this shouldn't make any difference. So retrospectively, as it's sitting there now, should be all lined up top dead center, both with the crankshaft and all the pistons, and with the camshaft. Now, when I get the tensioner and the timing chain cover on there, this chain will get pushed like that, and that's pretty much how it'll sit and how it'll look. So yeah, we're making ways apart from that one guide. Yeah, hopefully we can rectify that, whether it not being such an issue. I mean, worst comes to worst, I don't know whether, whoop, there we go, watch the camera, AJ, not what you're doing. You know, whether I try and trim a bit of this sort of lighter, scabbier stuff off and leave the other stuff, or yeah. So I'm getting in contact with the person that I bought the product of. He does a lot of engine stuff himself, so yeah, maybe I'm just being a bit too picky. To me, that is clearly something that shouldn't have come out of quality control like that. But yeah, anyway, see what happens. But for now, we'll leave things there the way it is. Now, yeah, so I need to get stuff cleaned up. So in saying that, I'm kind of at a standstill, but yeah, still making slow progression. You know, little hold-ups like that guide. Yeah, play a lot of havoc, obviously, when it comes to time and all that sort of stuff, because yeah, clearly it takes time to get answers. But yeah, progress is progress, as they say, and yeah, this thing's looking more and more like an engine every time I touch it, which is great. So yeah, get back to you on the next bit. So I don't know if you can hear that in the background, mad rumbling going on, but there's a fella that lives down here. He's got an awesome sounding car, if you can't hear it, and it is gonna be my first feature vehicle on my channel. Can't wait to show you what it is. I've been listening to it for weeks, and I seen it for the first time the other day and I fell in love, which is a bit funny for me because it's not the sort of vehicle I would fall in love with. But anyway, also this little Honda here, new addition to the family, so to speak, for a little while anyway, until I make my mind up after a certain point in time. But yeah, we'll introduce you to that down the track. Okay, so this is the paint that I'm using. It's an E69 fine silver, custom made. So I've 80 grit sandpaper, 240, then 600, and then I'm about to go over with some wax and grease remover. Now I got this paint and wax and grease remover that is specially made at Inspirations paint here in Gympie. Yeah, first time I've tried this paint. I've done a little bit of a test. It looks pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna get the rest of these parts cleaned up that are sitting under here somewhere, and yeah, prep sole them down and get them painted for start. One thing I do just want to point out about this silver, or this paint in general, is that apparently it doesn't need any there's primer or clear, so we'll see how we go. And there's no drying to cure either. Cures after, or dries after 60 minutes, so we'll see. Here's my rocket cover, all ready to be degreased, prep soled, wax and greased, all that good stuff. I had the same sanding treatment as the rest of my gear. I just got to do the timing cover yet. That's the last time you'll see that. The timing cover still in here. Still got to go over it and give it a sand down. But more importantly, I've just gotten word back about my timing chain guide, and yeah, so as bad as what that sort of looks, and to me, I don't know, I reckon that quality can be stepped up quite a bit. But yeah, just gotten word back about that via email, and yeah, all good to go. They've never had an issue with one of these, so yeah, well, never had any complaints, never had anyone have issues with them, so all good. We can start making proper major headway. I mean, it is pretty much ready to be all thrown back together, apart from a few other bits and pieces that I need to clean up along the way as well, but it won't take too much. So yeah, we'll continue cleaning up a few things and then get back to you. Alright guys, quick little update. I think we'll have to call this video here. Painted all my little parts, as you can see, little bits and pieces, power steering, brackets and all that sort of stuff. Sorry, I just scratched my nose. Yeah, now this stuff you don't have to prime or apparently use clear on it. Turned out pretty good, I think. There is no curing time, well, drying time 60 minutes. Doesn't say anything about curing it, you know, baking it or anything like that. But yeah, I reckon turned out pretty good. Yeah, so yeah, that's that. I have been hard at masking up and preparing the rocket and timing cover. I'll show you in a minute, but yeah, I told you I got word about that. I've put it in there nice and yeah, secure, so it'll bolt it up nicely. That'll all get done in the next video as well. Yeah, those parts I'll put away until such times as when we need it, and yeah, I'll show you the rocket cover and timing cover in a minute. Still have to get this sorted, but apart from that, I'm gonna take my time on that a little bit too, but apart from that, the only other thing I'm not sure about doing, and this comes along the lines of the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now you can see a lot of little corrosion holes, a couple big corrosion holes in there and whatnot, which that little hole there is getting a bit close to the gasket seal for my liking. But apart from that, yeah, no heating issues and whatnot. Yeah, and again, don't want to mess around re-drilling, tapping, or drilling and getting a weld-on piece put on there. Time, money, you know the deal by now. But anyway, yeah, as they say, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Never had heating times. No, never had a heating issue with that ever since I've put the turbo in and all that. You know, it's probably not ideal, but I have left the car sitting and running half hour, 45 minutes at times, you know, just on idle. I think the longest point there at one stage I do recall was a couple of hours. But yeah, in saying that also, when I got the gearbox done in that, when I overhauled it, it wasn't registered, so I couldn't drive it, and I wanted to make sure it got, you know, a few Ks underneath its belt after it got the auto rebuilt in it. And yeah, actually set it up on jack stands in the arse end and made sure that both wheels were off and left it running on idle in drive for like 2 hours, and yeah, no heating issues, so I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But in saying that, I don't run a thermo either. Yeah, she's all free flowing, which is sort of how I like it. Keeps things cooler. But yeah, still, yeah, that's the only sort of thing that's bothering me at the moment, and that's not going to hinder progression at this point in time until I make my mind up. But yeah, here's the rocket cover and the timing cover, and yeah, they've been sanded, marked up. Just need to give it a little bit of wax and grease and Prepsol acetone. So yeah, that'll be the last time you see them until they go on the engine, because they're going to be the same color, and I don't want to give away the color of my timing chain, my rocket cover. But yeah, I think for that one, or this video rather, we'll leave it there, and yeah, call it a day. Sorry if you have an issue with the volume, well, not volume, but the microphone hearing me. I don't know what's going on. I think I might have bumped the microphone here and there or whatever, but my microphone seems to have given up the ghost. There was a bit I recorded yesterday, and it was all like, basically sounded like there was a shit ton of air blowing through here in the garage, and I ended up not using that piece of footage. And yeah, unfortunately, it was all the little bits and pieces that I had prepped up and I showed you guys, and yeah, footage was no good. But I'll run through what I did to prep all my parts for paint in the next video. And yeah, I had to re-record this bit now as well, because it sounds like there's a shit ton of air blowing through here, and it's all nice and peaceful and quiet, and I mean like constant, yeah, kind of like air compressor with a gun, air gun, yeah, just constant, and you could barely even hear me. You can probably even barely hear me now. But anyway, that's that. I think I fucked my microphone. Anyway, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video, whatever you're doing, morning, noon, or night. I hope you're enjoying that. I hope you're all healthy and well. And yeah, catch you on the next one.